dance for joy.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, or in this case, not very sensible secondhand classics, the series where we normally look at practical and sensible older cars you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 from before the year 2010. In this case, this 1993 Audi V8 4.2 Quattro. It's not very sensible at all. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Audi V8, known as the Type 4C, was based on what's called the D1 or D11 platform, but it's related to the Audi 100 and 200 C3 models that were made between 1982 and 1991. It was launched in 1988 at the behest of Ferdinand Piech, who was distantly related, I think, to the Porsche family, and who was working for Audi at the time. It was only available with V8 engines, hence the name. The early ones were a 3.6 with 247 horsepower, and then the later ones, introduced in 1991, were a 4.2 V8 with 276 horsepower. You could either get this 4-speed ZF automatic gearbox with them, or the 5-speed gearbox with the 3.6 and a manual, and the 4.2 and a 6-speed manual. In some markets, the 3.6 and 4.2 coexisted with the launch of the 4.2 in 1991, but for our market and some others, the 4.2 replaced the 3.6. The Audi V8 is a very, very rare car in this country. They sold around 170 of them in total, and I gather that at the time the dealers just didn't want these cars. They were very, very expensive, in some cases more expensive than a Mercedes S-Class, and about the same price as a BMW 735i, which, considering the car looks sort of like an Audi 200, it is overall based on the same platform, a little bit sort of longer, a little bit wider version of that C3 platform. You have to be a real sort of someone to look at something that everyone just thinks is an Audi 200 or 100, has a very, very thirsty V8 engine, and just looks very sort of subtle. I like the design of this car. I think it looks very handsome, particularly in the sort of context of 2025 that we're in. But you can understand why people didn't want them. I think it was £50,000 around that sort of time. It's a lot of money in 1993. So this is a very late car. It was registered in October 1993 and was in the ownership of the same person from at least 1994 until 2022 when he passed away. This is a car that I actually co-own with Simon from the Lot 76 Cars channel, and we have one of the rarest cars in this country. As far as we know, there are about 5 of these on the road at the moment and about 40 on Sawn. So quite a high survival rate for the car, considering they made 170 of these in total for our market. But yeah, not common. Not common at all. Right, viewers, I've actually just had this car cleaned. It is going to need a proper detail at some point, because the paint is really, really flat. But yeah, unfortunately the little badge just down there has come off. I have retained it, but I'll have to glue that back on. So this car has done 73,000 miles from new. It was with the same owner, we believe, from 1993 until 2022. I think it's been with his sister for a few years, but yes, Simon from Lot 76 Cars and I have now just bought this. We are missing an Audi badge on the back. Now, some markets would say like 4.2 or Quattro as well, and V8 at the back. I think for our market it just says an Audi with the 4 rings. So the tail lights have now been cleaned. They were absolutely filthy on this car. And we just open the boot with this button here. The struts aren't very good on this, so I'm going to be quite careful. It's just me on my own. I'm going to hold it up for me, so hopefully that's not going to drop on me or anything. So we've got a hole just here in the tail light, which is letting in water, which isn't the best, but there we go. I believe that's going to be okay like that. No, okay, we're going to have to hold it up whilst we pull up the boot carpet and show the spare, if I can do this with one hand. Yes, there we go. The spare is in there. And there's also a ski hatch at the back as well. I don't think the seat's full, but there's a ski hatch there and a ski bag. And we've got a 10-disc Sony CD changer and a warning triangle. Boot's actually quite big for this size of car. You can see, oh there we go. You can see how this would compete with something like an S-Class or a BMW 7 Series back in the day, just for the size of the boot alone. It's not the same rear panels on an Audi 200. It looks like it is, but the lights are kind of sort of American style, and that they're all sort of kind of red tinge, which looks, in my opinion, very good. You've got twin exhaust here. One of the BBS alloys is missing its centre cap, which is on the right hand side of the car. And we see the Audi badge on there, which is actually where it should be on this side. Headlamp wiper action. I have a clip of some headlamp wiper action, which is to the left, which I'll put in the video at some point as well, that we took yesterday. But yeah, I think it's quite a handsome car. The problem is that it just looks like an Audi 200. It is longer and is a little bit wider than one of those, but otherwise it looks really similar. You can see how difficult it would be to convince somebody to part with more money than some versions of the Mercedes S-Class at the time, or the BMW 7 Series, when the car just looks a bit like a 200 or even a 100. So fuel goes in there. You can only use E5. It has to take minimum 98 octane fuel. On a 3.6 you can use 95 octane fuel, but on these you have to use 98 octane minimum. So we'll look in the driver's seat first. The central locking on this car is actually vacuum operated, which means it's a bit slow. We've actually got mats over mats in here, which is good. There we are. And lots and lots of wood and leather and piping and electric heated memory seats and electric windows and electric sunroof and everything really. You'd expect on a car that cost, I think, about £50,000 in 1993. Right, I'll just pause the video whilst I shut the door. So, this is what John Davis from Motor Week would have called the full complement of gauges. We've got everything. We've got voltmeter, oil pressure, we've got oil temperature, coolant temperature, rev counter, fuel gauge that's broken, and obviously the tachometer and the speedo. Also got a trip computer. It's a very early trip computer. If I can operate this with one hand, there we go. We have got that is average fuel economy. That is the average speed since this was reset. That's the current MPG. That is the miles remaining, which I do not believe for 1 second. Obviously, because the fuel gauge is broken, we're not relying upon that. That is the gallons used since you set off, and that is the time that the engine's been running since it was reset. You could get a 6-speed manual 4.2. I don't think I've ever seen one. I know they did sell the 3.6 with automatic and manual transmission in this country. I think it was 1990 only actually with that, and the 4.2 in this country only sold between 1991 and 1993, so this is a very late car indeed. We don't have a driver's airbag in this car. We've still got Audi's Procon 10 system, which actually tightens the seat belts and pulls the steering wheel away using cables in the event of an accident. In some other countries you could get an airbag and a passenger airbag. This car doesn't have them. The cruise control is vacuum operated, like central locking. That doesn't currently work. I don't know what's going on with the stereo. It doesn't work at all. The heat is on high because actually this car's got a broken thermostat. So when I drove back last night, I put the heated seat on. Obviously, you can put it up to right up to 6 on the position there. I had that on, but all the vents were blowing cold, so it wasn't the most pleasant journey, but it was fast, so that's good. The climate control does actually fully work, which is fantastic, but yeah, it gets a bit chilly. Glove box, let's try my secret mission document. We've got a mystery tape in here. Oh, I wonder what's on the mystery tape. Right, let's put that in there. Oh yes, viewers, Yes, please. Oh, viewers, I'm so excited. We've got electric sunroof, but I'm really loath to touch this because if this breaks, it would be a nightmare. So we're not going to touch that, viewers. Although we have tried it yesterday, it does actually work, but I'm not touching it. Very nice. I think this is Connery leather in here, actually, which is rather nice. A lot of the switch gears the same as in the Audi 100, 200, 80 at the time. For example, this light control here. It's the same as on an Audi 80 Cabrio that I tested in December. And yeah, just recognise a lot of the sort of gauges and interior fixtures and things like that. But not Volkswagen bits mainly, but actually a lot of them were just using Audis, which is interesting. Audi just kind of were their own company back in the day with Volkswagen money, and they did all sorts of innovative things like this quattro system, and making the V8 was a bit of an indulgence because they only sold about 21,000 of these cars in total worldwide between 1988 and 1993, although some sales continued to 1994. Right, let's get in the back, shall we? So we have taken a little bit of trim back on there. That was when I was driving back yesterday. We didn't want it to come off on the A31. So this window is a little bit broken. I want to push that up a bit, I think. Can I? No, I'm going to do it with two hands. Okay. The seat also, this seat needs reattaching. And the ashtray keeps falling out because the battery, if I lift this up, it's actually underneath here. So this has been off at some point, the battery's there. There's also, I think, how you access the fuel tank. This car's had a new fuel pump, so we're going to have to get this reattached. I'm not carrying any passengers in the back at the moment because of that, just in case, really. So we have got in there some climate vents and a cigarette lighter. Let's move this out of the way and put that back in the door. We have got an armrest in here, it's very nice. There's a ski hatch in there. Get that up, there we go. We've also got a first aid kit from 1990 feet, which will be of no use whatsoever to anyone, and a place in there that's not big enough for cup holders, which I've already put in there actually. The ski bag, which should have been in here, it's got unattached at some point, but never mind. But yeah, it's nice in here. We've got some luggage nets in here. It's very similar really to a nice like Audi 200 interior, which is no surprise really. But there we go, still very luxurious and very nice. Some of these had reheated seats, this car doesn't seem to have any, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, we can't have everything, can we? So this is Audi's famous V8. It's 4.2 litres in capacity, it's 32 valves, with 4 camshafts, and generated in this application 276 horsepower through a 4-speed ZF automatic gearbox. You could on these 4.2s or get a 6-speed manual, and on the 3.6 you get a 5-speed manual. The automatic gearbox might be one of the reasons why you wouldn't buy one of these. If there's anything wrong with it, it's about £3,000 or £4,000 to replace if you can actually find one. And they are quite rare. This headlamp wiper doesn't work. This indicator and solid lens needs replacing as well. We've got original dealer plates on this car, which is amazing. We think this car was originally registered by Audi UK themselves, given how late it is in production, and also the fact it's on a Northampton plate. And the Audi UK office, which I think is still there actually, was located in Milton Keynes, which is in the Northampton registration area like this car is. So yeah, power steering reservoir is this thing here, very big. 2 windscreen washer reservoirs, coolant, brake fluid. There is a cam belt in here which requires you to remove the whole front of the car to change it, so that we're going to actually have that done because we're not entirely sure of this car when it was. Climate control works, which is fantastic. I think the styling of this car is actually really nice. It's going to need a proper detail actually, this, because the paint is really flat in places, so we are actually going to do that. And also some rodent or something's had a go at gnawing away under the bonnet map, which is a shame, and the light doesn't work in here either, which is just a pain. But we're not going to change the bonnet map because dear, we've got more important things to do with this car. But yeah, why don't we go out for another drive, viewers? So the car rides and handles in an interesting way. Obviously it's got permanent all-wheel drive with this quattro system, and it's got plenty of power. 0 to 60 with a manual gearbox, I think it's under 7 seconds. With this automatic gearbox, it's under 8 seconds. The 3.6 was a little bit slower than that, but the steering is the biggest sort of letdown in this. I think previously, because this car's been engineered with the American market in mind, the steering's very, very light. There is a little bit of feel to it, but it doesn't really have any weight to it at all. I think Audis of this era, having driven a 1993 Audi V8 Cabrio quite recently, just had really, really light steering in them. It is very comfortable. The transmission tunnel is huge in this car, so because of the all-wheel drive, you find that the pedal box is a lot smaller than you'd imagine. Fuel economy isn't particularly good. It's about 19 miles per gallon. In fact, I'll look at the trip computer and it'll tell me 18.5 miles per gallon in the kind of, I don't know, 70 or so miles that I've had this car, including a lot of sort of motorway miles. So it's quick, and the grip is really, really good. Obviously, it's got the security of the quattro transmission in it, so you don't really sort of want for anything like that. The only thing is, if you put it through the corners, you do find the steering just a little bit too light, which is a shame. Let's put it through this corner here, about 30 miles an hour. Yeah, no weight to it whatsoever, absolutely none, which is a shame. Ride is okay, it's a little bit on the firm side. I think Audis of the era were like this, but it's amazing. Driving around in this, nobody would really know what it is at all. I just think it was some kind of normal early 90s Audi, which it just isn't. You know, these were designed to compete with the best of the best, and some people think that this is one of the best cars Audi have ever made. Certainly it dates from a time when Audi were not afraid to take risks, and the company was sort of let to do its own thing in many respects, unlike today when Volkswagen just have a lot more control over what happens, and the cars are, to my mind, a lot more anonymous than this is. It's subtle in terms of its styling. It's nice in the way that it drives. It's very comfortable on motorways and things like that. And when was the last time you saw one of these? So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also the Lot 76 Cars channel to see more updates on this beautiful old Audi. Really appreciate you watching the video all the way through. Leave your comment and like it, which really helps us all out. These cars are a bit of an acquired taste. I mean, we haven't paid really, I don't think, the money for what this car is worth. We were very blessed that someone I knew offered it to me in that respect, so don't expect to find one for sensible second-hand classics money, but I'm very glad that we did, because this is a unique opportunity and I'll probably never get the chance to drive another one of these in my life. But yes, thank you for your interest, and we shall see you again soon for some more reasonably priced, hopefully a bit more sensible, nostalgic motoring.